motivation comes from within. And it's very hard to motivate somebody on the outside for any reason. You can give them money and that goes away. You can give them all those other kind of things. All right? But you can motivate them, a certain number of people. All right? And what I'm going to say is it's yes and no. These top 20, bottom 20 is just a number to give you a relationship, okay? There's 20% of the people in most organizations today that are motivated. And they're going to do the job regardless of what kind of leader you are. Now, they may eventually leave, but when they're there, they're going to do the job. That's just how they are made. I'm one of those people, okay? There's 20% of the people that I don't care what kind of culture you build, what kind of environment you build, they are sluggards, they are lazy, and they're not going to do the job regardless of what goes on. Those are the people you need to be turning, okay? Turn them and get somebody else in, all right? But the other 60% here, you can't motivate those first two groups, okay? One of them self-motivated, the other one you're not going to motivate. So that's my no answer. You're not responsible for motivation, or we can't do it. The third part of it, though, is the middle 60. You can motivate. They're waiting on you, the leader of the company, to set the environment that they work in. And if you set it right, respect and dignity and trust and involvement and all those things we talked about, if you set it right, those 60% are going to be on your team, and you add it to the first 20, and you got 80% of the people for the same thing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There's a story of two guys in the woods of Canada, and they wanted to see which one of their horses could pull the most weight out of the woods, pull trees, how much they weighed out of the woods. So the first one hooked up his horse to the couple of big trees, the logs on the ground, and pulled out. And how much do you think he pulled out? About 4,000 pounds. That horse was able to pull out. So the other guy got his horse, put him around. How much do you think he pulled out? About 4,000 pounds. The real question is, what one guy said, he was a leader, wasn't afraid to give up credit. He said, I wonder how much they could pull out if we let them pull it together. So they hooked them together, and they hooked the wood on, and how much do you think they pulled out?
Less.
No, more. About like 16,000, 17,000 pounds, okay, versus 4 each, okay? You and I, Alexander, could go out to the car and start pushing it, and I could push, and maybe I couldn't get it going. It's just too much for me. And you come along, and we can push that thing out. Okay? So the question is good leadership, all right? Those 60% of the people who are waiting on you to set the right environment in the company. So the most important thing a leader can do, number one, you got to always make your numbers. You got to work to achieve things in the company. The best thing a leader can do, right, is to set the culture to where people feel like they're important. Treat them with respect, integrity, and the other kind of words that we'll talk about. You gotten quiet on me. Comment? Agree or disagree with where we are so far? Agree? No, I like disagree. Anybody disagree? Speak up. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've already talked that, okay. So which company do you want to work for? B. Everybody for B? B is sort of what we talked about, okay? Alright, next slide. Leadership styles. What are some leadership styles? Authoritative, okay? You will.
This is not leadership, no? This is management.
Oh, well,
in this authoritative.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Now, this is like, I was always thinking about the question during the speech about what is leadership and what is management.
Right, okay.
If you say about authoritative style, this is like management,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, manage. That's right. I tell you what to do, you go do it. I'm managing your activities. You have no choice if you want to work here. That's management.
Okay.
Not really, but management in its true sense. Let's not take management in its true sense is organization and organizing things. Leadership is pointing toward the goal and getting those people to do those things. Okay, but yeah, there is a definition that would say, management is authoritative. But I'm going to say authoritative is a style of leadership for this purpose. Okay, not a good style, but it is a style. There are people out there who. So what are some others? Authoritative. What's another?
Coaching.
I'm sorry? Coaching, okay. Yeah, coaching environment, okay. There to help you do those things, okay. Anybody else?
Partnership.
I'm sorry? Partnership, okay. All right. We're going to talk about two. We're going to talk about authoritative, and we're going to talk about servant heart. You heard the word servant heart before? All right. We're going to talk about servant heart leadership just a minute, okay? Go ahead. So, autocratic. I'm not going to spend much time here. It's all about me, the boss. You will do what I say you to do, all right? And the employees are there to serve you. A servant heart leader is the same thing we talked about all night as well. Others, empowering them, involving them, understanding what our job is that we do over here, all right? All those things are servant heart leadership. Is servant heart leader? Is it harder to be an authoritative leader or a servant heart leader? I'm sorry. The answer was?
Second is better.
No, I say which is harder? Is it harder to be an authoritative manager or a servant heart manager?
Well, it is personal way as you accustomed to. So if you get servant heart, you find it very hard to be authoritative.
Okay. All right. And you said it depends on your personality as to which one is easy. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next slide. I say, because whether your personality has something to do with which one you can adapt to easiest, but which one is it hard to be a good leader? Maybe is what the question should be. Which one is it hardest to be good? The second one, okay? Most people would say the first. Oh, you're just letting the employees do what they want to do. All right? What did I say earlier? As a servant heart leader, you are still demanding. You expect things to be done. You expect them to be done on time. You still set high standards. All right? You still expect performance. All right? You're driving the business. But you're doing it with all the other things we've been talking about. All right? So, servant heart is still the boss. You still have the ultimate responsibility for the decisions. Okay? You may not make them all, but you're still responsible for them. All right? You still need to be involved. It's not like you sit back in your office. All right? Every project that's going on in that company you should know about, but you're not telling them. You're saying, tell me how your project's going today, what's happening, what problems are you having, or let's have a meeting and let's talk about it. So you know what's going on, and you know what people are doing, but you're not directing them. I call it the ivory tower syndrome. You know what that means? Corporate. Got these big corporate ivory tower buildings. The boss sits on the top, and he's trying to tell people how to unlock the front door, okay? He's so far away from the problem, doesn't even know what the problem is, but he's trying to solve it. I'm going to ask this question. I think I know the answer. There's a show called The Undercover Boss. Is it by chance on over here? Let me tell you what it is. The boss, the head guy of the major companies in the U.S., will disguise themselves and go to work for their company as the lowest level employee. Every one of them failed miserably in doing the jobs, okay? It's not their thing. But they find out what's going on, and they're like, who made that decision? That we're going to do that. And guess who made that decision? They did. You follow the point? They're bad decisions because they don't have all the facts. But they made the right financial decision, but not the right decision that was maybe right for the customer or the employees. And then in the middle of the show, after they've worked their way through 4 or 5 jobs like that, these guys, they don't know who they are, They go back to their corporate offices and they call all their management in and they tell them what they've discovered and what they're going to change about the company. It is a great show. I mean, tears they cry. You've seen it? I mean, they'll cry when they'll say, guys, you just won't believe, what we've done to our employees out there when we did this or when we did that. So a good leader, I was using that example here, a good leader is one who is still involved and is out communicating and working and talking with all levels of people in the company so that they understand what's going on. All right?
And this was the strategy of Henry Ford, no?
I'm sorry?
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford?
Yeah, he did the same. So he came down to the employee.
Oh.
He was investigating.
Is that right? Yeah, I don't know that particular, but that's what it takes. I will tell you what I did. This little example you're going to see here. We had, just a second, we had 73% of our people were from ethnic groups. We were in Chicago, had a lot of ethnic groups. So 73% of the people who worked in our plant were from, other countries. And we went to have a Thanksgiving dinner. And the office had planned it, and the plant said, where are we going to have ours? And I said, well, we're going to have them here together. And they looked at me and said, no way. We've never gotten with the office. They considered it two different companies, okay, completely. Do you know that the plant manager who had been there 25 years, this company was privately owned before this company that I worked for bought them. The plant manager had never walked into the president's office. Why do you think that? Because he would get grease on the carpet. What kind of message does that send to the employees? Huh? If you sit back in your office and you want to meet with somebody and you say to so-and-so, get so-and-so to come see me, what do they think about that? I'll tell you what they'll think if you walk down to their office and sit down beside them and say, let's tell me about the project you're doing and how you're doing. You treated them like they were important enough for you to get up out of your chair and to walk out of your office and walk back where they were. And it'll make a world of difference in how you people think. It's the little things that people think. Let's get back to our slide. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Highmark is the company, it's not really a company, it's an organization, I guess, that sort of sponsors what we do in terms of teaching seminars. They do it in 67 different countries. And each location will put together teams like we do and send them. We happen to come to Ukraine. There's several others. My point is, there are 6 principles, I think 6 principles that you really can ingrain in your heart, and you will make a significant change in how you treat people and how you lead people. Okay? Having a reputation for being trustworthy, your contract, your word is your contract. I'm helping my son right now with a new little company they're working with, and I'm going around and signing on new customers and salespeople and all. And we haven't signed a contract. Do you know what I tell them about that contract? We'll sign the contract only because I may not be here next week and you may not be here next week, so I might have questions. But my word is better than that contract. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'll do it. Okay? Had a lady that we worked for, just tell you this example, just to tell you what consistency of that kind of thinking will do. Had a lady in our company who was the credit manager, and we had a lot of trouble with a major company paying their bills, and they would bring it in to me and say, would you call so-and-so, he won't pay his bill and he won't do this, and I'd call him and he'd say, yeah, you guys cheated me, you did this, I'm not going to pay you at all, I tell you what, I'll send you $9,000, but I'm not going to send you 10. And we'd decide, okay, if you'll send $9,500, that'll be fine, we'll settle it, okay, just to get it off the books. And instead of he'd say he'd send $9,500 in, he'd send $9,000 in, okay? Just
con